it needs to start in the schools. You know what I'm saying? We need to teach children how to love themselves. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to teach like all about genders and things. We just need to teach them who they are and what they do. You know what I'm saying? We need to start when they're young. You know, teach them who they like just teach them. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know, like that pretty much. And then I would say we need to impose strict laws against like things that are immoral, like abortion. Like we need to ban abortion. We need to make contraceptives more affordable. I agree. Like we need to hand out free contraceptives.
Well,
like,
wait, wouldn't you want no contraception? You don't want women having sex, right? So wouldn't you want no contraception?
Well, in the cases that they do, right? Because like we understand that this is like there's no way we can like control every person and what their desires are, like their sexual desire. Like I can't control someone. Like yeah, you can have intercourse, but like I would just say like yeah, I would support this person wearing contraceptives versus like being getting pregnant and then trying to abort or, you know, use the coat hanger and you know, so I would support.
So then you recognize, Cello, that like teaching people like I hate to call it this, but slut shaming like you were doing, right? Teaching people that sex is bad, teaching people like, well, you have to do this for sex.
Well, I think it's
is
good.
Less ineffective than like teaching them how to properly protect themselves from a potential pregnancy.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think like intercourse is a bad thing. I would just say like people don't like they lack accountability. Like in today's society, we see it everywhere, right? People lack accountability, right? So like you know what I'm saying, people want to defund police. They want to like not, you know what I'm saying, there's so much stuff going on these days where people don't want to take responsibility for their actions. You know what I'm saying? Criminals are running loose out on the streets, thinking they can do whatever they want and violate people's rights. We got a lot of animals out here.
About criminals, you know that there's like a pretty direct link for abortions going up and like free abortions to crime dropping.
What do you mean? What the hell?
So when you ban abortions and you force people to stay pregnant, what you're doing is throwing like unwanted kids into unwanted homes where they can typically face neglect. They're way more likely to face poverty. And we know that children who are in homes that are more neglectful and more poverty stricken are more likely to commit crimes. So like we actually see, when you look at America's crime rates have been dropping pretty steadily, and they're kind of coinciding with a group of people who are more likely to have abortions. I can send you like specific studies on it if you want to like read them and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like it's not a 1-to-1. Obviously, there could be more factors here. Crime has been steadily dropping from the 90s, and people don't know exactly why. But I would say that like the less people born into poverty, the less people likely to come from an unwanted home. All of this stuff could lead to less crime.
Yeah, well, I would still say like we can improve the system. I would still say like poverty doesn't. Just because the kids in poverty, I wouldn't say they deserve death or they deserve not to live or get a chance to live, right? Because we can't apply the same logic outside the womb. Like we can't say all the kids in the system currently that are having a bad life, would we just say they're better off dead in that case? Would you say that maybe they should have never been born?
No, I think once you're born, you exercise your will and your will to live and your inherent will that comes from being sentient. I just think that and I don't mean just poverty-stricken kids. I mean unwanted kids, right? I think it's very clear because there are poor people who love each other and don't commit crime. But when you are born to an unwanted household and you are born into a state of poverty, you are probably statistically more likely to commit crime when we just look at the factors of crime and like what contributes to someone causing crime. That's not to say that when I look at crime, there's a whole, but my thing wouldn't be let's kill everybody from poor household. It would be let's expand our systems to allow less poverty in the world. And that's why I'm interested to hear your policies for like you've said things you want to happen, but not how we would implement them at a policy level. So I'm just wondering like how you would implement like what you want on a policy level.
All right, so check this out. All right, so we ban abortion. That's first and foremost, right? We take away the option for women to have safe abortions. we could, address poverty, right? We can try to have systems in place. We already have like WIC and different things in place for the babies, right? Where they get free stuff, right? So I would say like maybe if someone.
Can I address your first part there? I don't mean to cut you off. I want to just address. Right. I don't want to get too far because I will absolutely forget everything you say if we don't go piece by piece. So like when we look at abortion rates, if you ever go into my link tree in my bio, I have a study that was done on literally every country in the world who has legal or illegal abortion. And we've actually found that countries with the least restrictive abortion policies are the countries with the least amount of abortion. So you can look at America versus Canada, for instance. Canada and America have very similar cultures. If you don't know someone is from Canada, you probably aren't going to realize it right away, unless they say a boot or something like that. But Canada, who has completely free and legal abortion, their abortion rates are lower than ours per capita. Now, that obviously can be a mix of the fact that Canada has a lot more social safety nets. Mm. So Poland, if you look at Poland, what you have to look at is the number of the surrounding countries in Poland. So Poland's abortion rate dropped when they banned abortion. All of the surrounding countries' abortion rates raised, and then Poland's maternal mortality rate raised. So,
with this
it's
logic,
just that people were going other places.
With this logic, though, you would have to say then, we should, if we prove abortion to be wrong, right, it's killing a life, we would then have to say that, we shouldn't, make murder illegal because technically, it doesn't stop people from killing people, right? So I would still say, if we prove, abortion to be wrong, we should still legislate against it. And the people that will,
it's the same reason I'm not for banning guns, right? I'm not for banning guns. I think banning guns doesn't make sense to me because people are still going to get the guns. So why not regulate it in a safe way where I know they're getting guns safely, and that only the safe people are getting guns, as opposed to banning it and then the only thing that leads is to violence, right? So I would say it's more similar to that. It's the same reason I wouldn't ban guns is the same reason I wouldn't ban abortion.
Yo, Ginger, if you don't mess with me, why are you on my stream, low-key? But anyway, so I would say, so if we prove it to be wrong again, so you're not for banning guns, that's good. So that's something I can agree on, so some sort of agreement. In this case, SA, it will happen forever, right? But we're going to legislate against it to, put these people where they belong, right? Abortion, I would say, it is wrong still, so I wouldn't be okay with keeping it legal and to have. I don't want women to have safe abortions because they need to learn the consequences of their actions, right? So, the maternal death rate does increase to about 15 or 16% when they do. When abortion does become illegal, but they're still making that choice to take that risk, and if they die in the process, that is due to their bad decisions, right? So I would still say, I would still want to legislate against it and take away abortion practices from doctors and OBGYNs, you name it.
Yeah, but see, so the issue to me is that doesn't make a lot of sense when we're looking at trying to lower the rate of abortion. So, I don't think it's a cultural change that needs to be made, right? If we're looking at, let's lower abortion rates, what I actually think is it's a class system that needs to be changed. So, how do we change the class system of America? Because here's the thing, and I would hope you would agree with this. Banning abortions will only ban abortions for poor people. If you are rich and have money, you will still be able to get on a plane and go somewhere else and have an abortion whenever you want.
Yeah, you can say the same thing about people who want to end people's lives, like hitmen or whatever you want to call it. You can still, rich people have access to just hire anybody and still do this, even though it's illegal. I would still say it's wrong. It's horrible.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, if we know that people are still going to do it, people are still going to get on a plane and do it, people are going to do it unsafe.